So we're going to try this again with just my camera on my computer. Something seriously does not want me telling you any of this. Okay, so hopefully part two is not lost and you got to see that first before this part. I'm going to pick up where I left off talking about how you have an external shield to your auric field, your aura, your energy around your body. We can turn it on or off with thought, unconsciously or consciously. If you are depressed, if you are under the influence of alcohol, if you are angry, if you are under the influence of drugs, heavily medicated in any way, shape, or form, heavily, okay, in excess is what I'm saying, in excess. If you're angry, if you're sad, if you're depressed, if you're feeling destitute, those lower vibrations, as we would call them, then you actually are lowering your shield. You're allowing things to come in to affect you. This is how you can have biological attacks on your body. You can have psychological attacks on your mind. You can have spiritual attacks. EMFs can hit you easier. Any kind of germs in the air can hit you easier. Like literally everything. You're more susceptible to the whole gamut of hosts that are out there carrying negative stuff, right? Bad stuff. Um, Now, I also just wanted to bring up another thing that I had jotted down when I was thinking about our energy and how to go about teaching you this so that you can really comprehend it and stuff. Arthur C. Clarke, a quote of his popped into my mind. Some people know who this is. He's a very famous author from like my dad's era, 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know, somewhere around in there. Um, So, okay, it just told me that it did convert that video, so good. That's awesome. Uh, Arthur C. Clarke, his third law was that any sufficiently advanced technology would then be proven to be indistinguishable from magic. This includes all of the sound um, capabilities, levitating, healing, um, forming matter, creating shape out of different substances. This is a definite, sufficient evidence of an advanced technology through sound waves, scalar waves, that the ancients knew and we have forgotten. We as a whole, there are people that know this, but not enough, not near enough. Um, Another little side note I wanted to say, because earlier in this I had brought up um, Egypt with the sacred wisdom of the temple science. I personally don't feel like the Egyptians built the Great Pyramids of Giza or the Sphinx, either one. I feel like those were built by the Atlanteans. And if you've been following my work, then I've been showing how the Atlanteans have actually shown up in all parts of the world, all 12 areas of the world. And I feel like that's evidence of the Atlanteans existing. Also, I wanted another side note I wanted to add was that gravity is actually the result of the toric function creating the magnetism around everything. It's the toric field, which we'll get into later, or the torsion field. Some people know it as the toric field, some know it as torsion or the torus. Um, so, with that being said, understanding gravity is actually a byproduct. It's a result of the toric function that creates the magnetism. If our shields of this planet were to go down, what are the implications for everything that isn't tethered to the earth at that point. We've been talking about pole shifts. We've been talking about binary stars. We've been talking about cyclical things. Proven, scientifically proven things that have happened, like pole shifts in our past. Ancients that wrote about this, trying to warn us of this binary star, this Nibiru, this nemesis that's coming toward us, that is in our inner solar system now. It's not a theory, it's a fact. And what we could actually do different to save the world from cataclysms such as this, if we did know ourselves the way that Jesus said to know thyself. Just like I was saying with the, watching something playing out on the news cameras that are playing on the TV stations, or hearing it on the radio with the journalists reporting it, the reporters telling you what's going on. If we could focus our energy in those specific spots that we know we should focus them in, look at how much we could do together to change the outcome and to literally catapult human evolution to a whole new level that's way better for the majority than not. Way better. I mean, there's literally nothing to lose from learning this. It's a win-win all the way around. Okay, another quick side note I wanted to mention is that when I say to you that time travel can happen unknowingly to you, and that it does happen to people all the time, there's actually a term for that called liminal spaces. And I really should have mentioned that when I did my time travel videos. But liminality is a real thing, and it's literally the transition between two distinct places or two distinct emotions. If you're driving or walking and you're mindlessly doing this, not really paying attention to what you're doing and not really focused on any one thing in particular, you're just sort of mindless and blank, you can actually stumble into liminal space in this way, literally another dimension. People have done this time and time again by driving down the road and ended up on a road that they never knew existed before, and then try to come back and show someone that road again later on in life and in their life, and it doesn't exist. They can never find it again. I mean, literally, people have done this all the time. And we also do this with our emotions. If we're like suddenly separated from someone that we love, we're in that distraught, sort of blank, empty space of emotion where we don't really know how to feel or where to go from here. And you can actually slip into an alternate dimension in that way as well, which is a liminal space. Liminal space is typically temporary, and you do come back from it. So even though, yes, it sounds scary, I mean, it is something that once you like tune back in and you're paying attention and you're consciously aware of what's going on around you again, you can find your way out of it. With ease, you find your way out of it after you're done being interested in looking at whatever's there that you're looking at. But it does happen, and there are tons of documentation on it if anybody is interested in looking that up, so that you can understand space and time travel in its many layers, because it too has several layers to it, just like scalar waves or radio waves or electromagnetic energies, the EMFs. There's many different frequencies. Time travel is has the same aspect, from you being able to time travel yourself personally right here and right now, to all the way up to wormholes and stargates and such. And then also going through dimensions. And that's why I have my coffee cup book out still. I wanted to show you my diagram that I drew, I don't even know, 25, 30 years ago. I drew this diagram. There's 9 levels to the dimensions. And what I was shown was these funnels, these funnel tunnels that were shaped like hourglasses with like a webbing through them, where they were like a fabric that, you know, moved easily and undulated. And I was taken up through all 9 levels and shown the different dimensions and how there's 9 universal type dimensions, but there's also 9 dimensions within, like, say, this room that I'm in right now. There are 9 parallel universe type dimensions, right? And really even more than that, but that gets bigger and crazier with the math. And you all probably don't really want to learn all of that, just the basics, the foundations of it. So I'll try to do that KISS principle and keep it simple. But it goes along with the many worlds theory, which I'm getting ready to do a separate video on very soon, because I have tons of notes and research on that as well, that because of all these synchronicities that I've been going through recently, I started digging out all my boxes of notes and stuff from 20, 30 years ago, and finding this stuff so that I can show you. But all of this ties into the binary star system stuff, because when I was shown these 9 levels, these 9 dimensions in this vision, this was one of those settings where I went into a meditation where I activated Kundalini and completely opened up, to the universe for Akashic wisdoms, and began being downloaded and escorted places and shown things and spoken to and all that. And so I was helped to understand better that the binary star system, our main star, the sun going micronova, that this is a cyclical but also a ripple effect thing that's happening throughout the entire universe, throughout the entire Milky Way galaxy, but also through all of the dimensional levels as well. This is like it's a cyclical upgrade thing that happens from micro to macro, evolutionary type changes that just naturally, keep happening over certain periods of time in increments. And so I was shown 9 levels. I was shown 9 solar events. I was shown 9 different types of micronovas. I was shown 9 different levels of a choice between 2 of cataclysms or evolutions. And the cataclysms weren't called cataclysms. They were just called de-evolution and evolution. Like devolving and evolving, right? And all of it sort of is about, who's going to wake up, right? And all the other levels, they're doing their evolutions because they're already more advanced than we are here on the Earth plane, in our solar system's plane. And so it's like basically we're trying to play catch up so that we can also do our quantum leap of evolution the way the rest of them have, rather than going back to square one again, back in the dark ages. Because that seems to have been a common theme in the past, which is part of the reason for the volunteers being here to help make sure this kind of like happens this time, so that we can evolve further, because it's really time to do that. And I have a video that I'm going to still share the link with, even though I'm not on Zoom, so I can't like talk to you about it right now. And I would like for you to look at the 30-minute mark and the 50 minute mark, 50-minute mark of the video, and just listen to 10 or 15 minutes of each one because it pertains to what I'm saying here. And then if you want to watch the entire hour-long video, by all means do so, because it's great, informative, and accurate video that I literally just stumbled on today. But it's perfect. It pairs so perfectly with everything else that I've been talking about. And on the 30-minute mark, it's going to talk to you about, or maybe that's the 50-minute mark. It's going to talk to you about postulating, what could we do as far as control of healing and disease and planetary cataclysms and such as that, if we knew how to someday harness this scalar wave energy. And I'm telling you, I have the knowledge to teach you just that. It doesn't have to be a what if, because it's most certainly we can, if enough people know it, to make a real difference. That's the key. Now, I'm going to close with reading you a poem that I wrote right after being shown the 9 dimensions and how creation works. And it's called The Truth. The spacious firmament on high, with all the blue ethereal sky, and spangled heavens a shining frame of their original proclaim. The unwearied sun from day to day does his creator's powers display, and publishes to every land the works of an almighty hand. Soon as the evening shades prevail, the moon takes out its celestial tale, and nightly to the listening earth it tells the story of her birth. With all the stars that round her burn, and all the planets in their turn, confirm the tidings as they roll, and spread the truth from pole to pole. What thou, in solemn silence all, moves round this dark terrestrial ball? What thou, with no voice, no sound to be heard, amidst their radiant orbs be found? In reason's ear they all rejoice, and utter forth a glorious voice, forever singing as they shine, the hand that made us is divine. And what I was trying to describe there was from the micro to the macro of creation and the scalar waves of sound and light and color that are present as a signifier of evidence of those scalar waves that our divine has orchestrated and manipulated and put together in the most perfect ways to create everything from the blade of grass beneath our feet to your own miraculous body, the planet we live on that is very much alive, and the solar system we exist in that is also very much alive, all the way out. Beautiful. And I wish someday for the camera that Tesla created in the 1800s to be a tool we can use where we can see each other's thoughts if we want to, so that I can show you the beauty that I was shown. Because if you see it, you really understand it. You really feel it. You really get it. And that's what I hope to portray to all of you. by doing these videos. I hope to give you a glimpse of the wisdom and the knowledge of the beauty and the vibrations that have been bestowed upon me to share with you, to give you back your power and give you back real control of so much. And until we see each other again, be well and be blessed in love and light. Peace out.